Jane Alexander is Victorian Manager of the Australian Brick and Blocklaying Training Foundation. Ms Alexander, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tom.
Now, are there many female bricklayers?
We've got 0.4% nationally.
0.4?
Yes, and those that do pick up the trade, their employers value them because of their attention to detail. Not saying that the men aren't that way inclined as well, it's just that they take a little bit more time, and what they don't have in strength, they make up for in really high skill.
Okay, but I mean, so if it's 0.4 women, it's 99.6% a male profession?
Correct, because of the nature of the industry, yes.
You must have done well to become Victorian Manager of the Australian Bricklaying Foundation.
I'm very proud to be actually and represent the bricklayers around Victoria. They're a fantastic trade, and unfortunately not noticed enough for the skill that they actually deliver in Victoria.
Okay, well, just a couple of minutes ago we had Luke rang up. He said he's a bricklayer, but he's been out of work for a couple of years. I mean, is there a shortage of bricklayers at the moment?
There's actually a shortage of apprentices coming in, which will in turn create a shortage of qualified bricklayers. We've been through the build and bust times where we had everybody hanging on and waiting to retire because there was the building boom, and they've now retired and they've left gangs really unemployed and looking at starting up their own business. So that's actually kind of a natural selection process. But with the closure of TAFEs, and the only option given, not TAFEs, with tech schools, and the only option given to parents thinking that their children must go to university, that in turn has created about 3 generations of young people dismissing trades as a valuable life choice.
Okay, but I mean, why is it then that we've got people ringing up saying that they're tradespeople but they can't get jobs at the moment? I mean, if there's so few tradespeople like brickies and so much work out there.
Look, a lot of the good ones will pick up work, that's undoubtedly. But those that haven't been able to actually secure a job, they might be looking in the wrong area where there's actually not a lot of building going on at that time. So they need to actually expand, which they can. They can go anywhere with a trowel. You can travel from one side of Australia to the other. You know, it's a business that it's a trade that you can pick up and go anywhere with. So maybe they're not either good at their trade, and I shouldn't say it that the way it sounds, or they need to get some more skills so that they're thought of better and can pick up a job.
Now what can a bricklayer, once you've gone through your apprenticeship and you're fully qualified and you're able to lay bricks and you're getting reasonably consistent work, what can you conceivably earn?
Look, that's up to the individual. It's like any job in a trade where you reap as much as you actually work. In my job, I'm on a salary, so I'm capped, as are many of us. But in the building industry, as much as you can put into yourself with professional development and time and effort and energy and how you run your business, especially when it comes to quoting and understanding how to make money, you can go as far as you want on a wage.
Now, what about this suggestion that 457 visas will have to be used to bring in bricklayers from overseas? Is that true?
Look, if that's a government choice, that's something that I really I don't know what the government's going to do on all of that, but they would be bringing qualified bricklayers in that would actually then in turn hire young people and give apprentices an opportunity. The biggest problem I feel that we do have is that we need parents, careers, teachers and young people to understand that bricklayers are they're a qualified tradesperson. They are the ones that are consulted by builders to actually look at how they can cover up anything that sits behind the cladding. And look, the consumer's getting very savvy now. They realise that a brick house is there forever and they don't have to invest all of their life savings to actually look at $20,000 to paint it out of their retirement fund when it's going to be there as sturdy as ever. So the consumer's looking to build more in brick as well.
All right, we'll leave it there. Jane Alexander, Victorian Manager of the Australian Brick and Blocklaying Training Foundation. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
I don't know about this. I don't know whether bringing in 457 visa bricklayers is going to lead to more training opportunities, but I think the general point that too many people go to university and don't think about a career in the trades, I think it's a good one. I mean, when there's a shortage of tradespeople can make a decent living. Kate, good afternoon.
Oh, good day, Tom. Love your show.
Thank you.
Look, I'm an owner's corporation manager. I've now gone into management, but for many years I managed smaller properties or properties that needed to have repairs. We need to rebuild walls, etc. You could not find a bricklayer for love or money. And then I also, at the same time, had a client who was a bricklayer who wanted to retire. He said, how can I? There's so much work out there and I can charge anything I want. because of a shortage of bricklayers.
Well, it sounds to me like, Kate, if you're good and you're connected and you know where the work is, you've got work coming out of your ears. But I guess there's always going to be some people who don't quite know where to go, isn't there?
Well, I think a lot of the young people just want to get onto building sites and build new houses. But, there's not a lot of work out there in that. But there is an awful lot of work out there in the restoration or rectification work. And that's where we could not get tradespeople.
Very interesting. Thank you, Kate. Thank you very much for the call. We might put Kate and Luke together. Luke rang before and said he hadn't had a job, or at least couldn't get a bricky's job in 4 years. Kate says she can't get a bricklayer for love nor money. Who knows? Maybe we can put these two together.